Okay.
Okay. I think we here.
Hello, world.
Hello, everybody. All one viewer, which is Laura.
It's me, but it's fine.
All right, let's do it.
Yes. Okay. Hello, everyone. We're gonna get the visuals up, I believe. Okay, we're up. So hello. Hi, I'm Laura, as you probably know.
And I'm Jessica,
And welcome to Man Nomads.
a podcast about international teaching, travel, and life.
I'm a music teacher in Shenzhen, China.
And I am a music teacher in Panama City, Panama.
And welcome to season 2 of the podcast.
Yeah, and obviously this season we're coming to you live.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you'll still be able to catch it later on our YouTube channel. We just decided logistically it's easier for us, so why not?
Right. And we'd appreciate, if you're not already, if you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you get alerted when we go live or videos go uploaded.
Mm-hmm. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to check out our Instagram and follow us at Man Nomads Podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna fade out the music. Hopefully it wasn't a hard cut, but yeah. So last season we talked about a lot of different things. Hey, Laura's dad, what's up?
Hi, Dad.
So we talked about a lot of things, like working with admin, going online, teaching, moving abroad, and just like general realities of international life and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. So today we're kicking off season 2. We're talking about our most recent breaks and vacations, multiple.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, as we talk today, if you are actually here live, like, Laura's dad, what's up? Feel free to like comment or ask questions to us.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just know for Laura, can you turn off? Do you have the sound on?
Of YouTube? No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Well, I'm getting feedback of myself talking, but
Okay.
it's cool. It's fine.
Okay. I can
Okay.
close the tab if you want.
Well, if it's on mute, I shouldn't be hearing it from you. It's probably just me.
That's good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna start by just giving you a general update about COVID in our current countries, and especially since we're going to be talking about vacations and travel, like we just want to be accountable with everyone that we're following the laws where we are at. And sometimes we get to travel still, and sometimes we don't. So for China, I'll just start off. Basically, it's we're kind of past the virus. We're moving past it. We have still a lot of restrictions in place, but it allows us to move within the country pretty easily, except for right now because it's a bigger holiday, so they're trying to limit traffic. And so, yeah, they still have required quarantine when you come in that is monitored by lots of other people. So you're being held accountable. And we can't leave the country without quarantine when we come back, which is 2 weeks. So basically, that would have to be a break that is longer than 2 weeks, which I don't have anymore. So,
Right. Yeah. And I need to turn down the audio on my computer or something.
okay.
Sorry, I just like hear myself talk like 2 seconds after it happens. Okay. So yeah, in Panama, things have started to open up again, like as we'll get into, like it was pretty locked down over Christmas and New Year's. But any travel, like for me, I just traveled within the country via car with people I'd already been in contact with. But if anybody does leave the country to return, they need a negative COVID test to get in. And if they don't have it, similar to Laura said, they would have to quarantine for 2 weeks. Um, so yeah, it's still pretty cautious with travel. And like I said, me personally, I did not leave the country, though I know some other people did for this break.
Mhm. Great. Yeah. So we're with season two, we're going to be changing things up a little bit for several reasons. And so we're going to start introducing some recurring segments to feature episodes, just keep things interesting and have some kind of theme going on. So this week we have our first segment that we're going to call Teachable Moments. And normally we would share something we learned, like teaching related from the past week. But since we've both been on vacation, we just have some things to share from daily life.
Yeah. So, I mean, mine kind of goes with my travel that I just had. But if you didn't know, Panama is hot and sunny. And so on my trip, I put on so much sunscreen, like over and over and over, but I still got burnt. So I guess for this week, my teachable moment is if you are a pasty Scandinavian girl, you need to put on way more sunscreen than you think you do. That's my teachable moment because yeah, I've been slapping on the aloe vera and I'm starting to peel today.
Nice.
Woo!
Yeah, well, my vacation has been super different, and we're going to talk about it more in depth in a little bit. But so I'm on break for Chinese New Year right now. And since that is like the biggest holiday in this country and their culture, they've put a lot more restrictions on travel. So, and then even our school has asked us, and they can't make us, but they've asked us not to leave the city just for the safety of everyone and being able to have school as normal as possible. So I just decided, since I had already had a fun vacation, to just stay at home and relax and settle into my apartment more. So, my teachable moment for this week is to make your own fun, even if you're at home alone. Like this week started to kind of feel like lockdown in the States again. Like I could have left and it was fine. But just
Mm-hmm.
like I pulled out some of my old quarantine hobbies and I have a balcony. So I just sat out there and had a drink in the afternoon when the sun was hitting, and it was nice. You just gotta keep it chill for yourself sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, and getting creative, which I will talk
Yeah.
about later too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Laura said, moving forward, that will be more about teaching, but life lessons are good too.
Yes. We'll have a couple other segments too. So
Hmm. So, first, we're just going to talk about our winter breaks a little. And Laura's was vastly more interesting than mine. And then we kind of flip flop for our break that we just went on. So, I'll let Laura talk first about her beach vacay. Oh, also, I'm not actually on the beach. Power of technology in my apartment.
yeah, it's funny because we actually both went on beach vacations, but just at different times. So
Hmm.
I'm going to talk about my beach trip now, which was actually over Christmas since I couldn't leave the country, especially since I had just gotten in China. There was really no point to doing that. So I wanted to go and have like an actual relaxing vacation, because usually when we have days off, I'm like traveling, sightseeing, staying busy. And especially after the crazy year of 2020, I'm like, wouldn't it just be great to sit on the beach and not really do anything? So I actually heard about on a vlog this island that's really close to Shenzhen. It's like an hour and a half flight, and the city is called Sanya. So I had to get a couple more COVID tests because the timeline of that was actually I had just gotten out of the hospital like 2 weeks before winter break. And so we have to have a 21-day COVID test, negative, obviously, and a 28-day. So I took the 28-day literally the day before I was supposed to leave. And then luckily got my results back in time because they have like really fast tests here. And then there were some problems like getting checked in, and like something with my passport. I don't really know because they were talking to me in Chinese, but something happened so that every checkpoint I went to, I had to wait for like an extra 5 minutes. And so I walked up to board the plane just as everyone else was boarding the plane. I was like, okay, perfect, we're fine. And when I finally got on the plane, I couldn't even believe it because I was like in the hospital, quarantine, all this stuff. I was like, there's no way that I'm going to actually be able to go on this vacation, because that's just the way that things have been going lately. But I made it and finally made it to the hotel, and I was a little early, so I couldn't check in yet. But I had I got like a club access room or something. It's kind of like executive lounge if you're familiar with that. But basically, it's like a middle nicer room, and then you also get access to some kind of lounge that usually has like snacks, drinks, breakfast, whatever. So that's what I got. I got free breakfast every day, which was like pretty significant. And then they had a high tea, a cocktail hour, and then they always had soft drinks available in the lounge.
Fancy.
And
High
I
tea.
know it was okay. I'm upset because I love tea, and to get the tea during high tea, it was not easily accessible. Like I had to find someone and ask, and it was behind the counter, and they only had two kinds. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm paying all this money to have Lipton green tea, but
Yeah,
okay.
it's just low tea, not high
Yeah.
tea.
No, no. It was very low tea. But anyway, I don't know if I would recommend doing that again. I think if you're gonna do something like that, I would say just go all in and do like all inclusive. because I feel like we're paying all this money and thinking we're going to have a better experience, but the benefits didn't really line up, at least in my mind. But the resort did have like two or three other restaurants on the campus. You did have to like walk quite a ways to get to them. They had a brewery, which was almost never open, and a bar, which had really overpriced drinks. So it wasn't great. And we were also, so there's like a resort area, which is like all the expensive ones, like Atlantis and whatever. And that's
Mm-hmm.
like 15-minute drive up the hill. So we were in like the mid-tier area. So there's a lot of other resorts around. So we were kind of trapped. Like the closest grocery store or whatever was like a 15-minute taxi down the hill. So, I mean, I kind of knew it was going to be that sort of situation, which is why I got the club access thing. But the great thing was, I found out a couple days before I was leaving that other people were going from Shenzhen, other teachers, just not from my school, were going to the same place. And a couple people were actually staying at the same hotel. And I didn't know this because I had booked it like 6 months ago. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, awesome, I'll have like some other people to meet up with there. And we did end up doing like quite a bit of stuff together. So we, the first, like, most important thing, if you've been to this place, you've probably been to Dolphin Bar because there's only one restaurant in the city that's like drivable that has Western food or like anything like recognizable. Otherwise, it's pretty much Chinese, or there was like one Indian place or like a bunch of like food court mall stuff. So everyone was at Dolphin Bar. Like you walked in and you felt like you were in like a Minneapolis bar or something because it's all like expats and everyone's speaking English and having a great time and slamming some beers. So we went there a couple times and they had live music and dancing every night. So it was packed,
Nice.
like it was
Yeah.
crazy packed. But we did get to go there a couple times. And then there's one day where we rented a yacht. So between like 8 to 10 of us, we got it for like a couple hours and they gave us like snacks and stuff. And it was nice because it reminded me of like going out on the lake in Minnesota, except it was an
Yeah.
ocean. So like a little bit better. But that was really fun just to relax and like we all got a turn to steer the boat and take our pictures.
Oh my
We were
goodness.
in open water, like it wasn't a problem, but
All
it was fun.
right. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And then the last thing that we did, obviously we were there over Christmas. We just got we had a Christmas Eve buffet dinner at the hotel next door, which was fine. And then we had a Christmas Day buffet at our hotel, which was like the fancier hotel of the people in our group, and it was really nice. We had like every kind of meat you could imagine and music and dancing, and it was awesome. So yeah, it was a really good trip and really relaxing.
Cool. Yeah. That sounds fun. And like some similar things to what I just did. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like I mentioned, her like Christmas break, winter break was way more vastly exciting than mine, but we'll flip flop in a
Yeah.
second for the I don't know, carnival slash Chinese New Year break. Um, yeah, so for me, I think I talked about a little bit how we were going into lockdown, perhaps in like the last episode, but it picked up and got a lot harder. They literally put us in an entire full lockdown from like Christmas Eve, like 5 p.m. until the following Monday at like 5 a.m. Like you could not leave your house, period, for like 3, 4 days straight. Like nothing. I mean, unless obviously I needed to go to the hospital or something. So yeah, I was in a pretty hard lockdown, and then during the week, um, at that point, I think like restaurants and stuff were still open, so we could do some stuff. So I was able to do like a little like Christmas Eve brunch type thing. And then a couple of my friends and I went out and we got like gifts for each other. So on Christmas morning, via Google Meet. We got to do like a little gift exchange. So that was fun and made it not as sad to literally not leave my house during Christmas. And then the same thing happened over New Year's. It was like New Year's Eve until the following Monday was hard lockdown as well. But yeah, like Laura was talking about earlier, you kind of just like make your own fun. So I like bugged friends from home, including Laura, and friends from here, and played like Mario Kart and like Jackbox. Even with my family, I called some of my family and my aunt and uncle, and we played some Jackbox games, which are just like party games like trivia, Pictionary, stuff like that. Um, yeah, I think also on Christmas Eve or like the day before Christmas Eve, I was able to go to Gimboa Rainforest and do like a hike with some people. Um, we did not see any sloths, which me and my friends have been dying to see sloths, and it seems like everybody and their mother in this country has seen a sloth except us. And I am not to the point where I'm gonna go to the like sloth reserve yet. Like I want to
Mhm.
see them in the wild. I don't want to see them
Yeah.
in like I don't know a fenced-in area. Here we have sloths. Um, so we did not see sloths, but we saw, I think they're called gati. So they're like, I don't even know how to describe them. Like skinny little raccoons, but they have like long noses, almost like anteaters, and then like long tails. They're pretty cute. Lots of hummingbirds. We saw a toucan, very briefly, an alligator. But that was pretty fun. That was like my big thing, I guess, of Christmas break. Other than that, I was mostly in my house. I did get an instant pot, so been cooking lots of soups. Very
Mhm.
exciting. Um, but yeah, cooking, and then I also picked up painting, like doing acrylic painting. Um, through like tutorials that I find on YouTube. But so those have been like some fun, like new hobbies that I picked up more, especially
Mhm.
the painting. Like I've liked painting, but I haven't done it as consistently since winter break. I've probably at minimum done like one painting a week. So I have so many paintings. Oh my
Nice.
goodness, I have my paint book I could flip through.
Well,
Maybe we'll have a show and tell like in some episode. It could be
okay.
cute. Um, but yeah, so that's really like the highlight for me was just taking the time to like call friends and family because in the past like 3 years, like yeah, I still talk to friends and family, but I haven't been as consistent about like calling them because I'm out doing other stuff. So in a way that was good. And then I had just moved to my apartment, so getting all the final things and unpacking. So there was definitely stuff to do. It just was pretty low key.
And your time zone makes it a lot easier too. Like, even
That
though
too,
I've
yeah.
been sitting around not doing anything for this break, there's still only a limited number of hours that I can talk to them without like changing my whole schedule.
Right. Yeah. Panama City right now is 1 hour ahead of Minnesota. Um, and then when Minnesota does daylight savings again in the spring, it'll be the same time. So, yeah, that has been really helpful because then I can call people in the afternoon. Whereas,
Hmm.
yeah, like from China or where we were last year in Central Asia, it's you really can only do it in the morning
Yeah.
or the evening. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of flexibility. Hence why our podcast is going live at 7 a.m. Minnesota
Yeah.
time.
And it's all because mainly because it's Sunday night for me. So I
Yeah.
don't want it to be too late before the school week. So
Well, yeah, and
yeah.
Sunday morning for me too. I don't want to, I don't know, get in the habit of doing it on Friday or Saturday night, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This is like the best time we could come up with. So anyway, yeah. So we both had like some cool times in December, but then so your break just this past time was because of Carnival or also Chinese New Year?
No, mine is Carnival. Like I think the
Okay.
actual Carnival holiday was on Tuesday this past week.
Uh-huh.
Um, and most people I think just have off like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But our school gives us the whole week off. So we had
Yeah.
yeah, the whole week off.
And that's leading up to Lent, right? Is that the
Yeah, it's
reasoning?
it's
Or,
basically
okay,
like Fat Tuesday.
okay,
So yeah,
cool.
like the week before Good Friday or sorry, the day before Ash Wednesday, right? So I
Hmm.
think last
Yeah,
Wednesday was Ash Wednesday. So yeah, it's like the start of Lent.
yeah. So Chinese New Year officially is like from the 11th to the 20th or something. But since this is like their giant holiday here, most people, like people out in the city not affiliated with our school, would probably have most of February off. And
Mhm.
then most things will be open back on Monday now. But from February, I think like whenever we got out of school, like the 11th up until basically yesterday, like everything was closed. Like all the restaurants, all the grocery stores, except a couple that are like known for being open for expats and like some of the bigger grocery stores. But it was crazy because I'm thinking like when in the States has have things been closed like that for more than just a couple days? Like even
Right,
nowadays for Christmas, it's like a day and a half and they can barely do that or like they
right.
don't
It's
want to. But
basically like I don't know, like 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve until noon on Christmas Day. It's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's
So
crazy.
it was interesting, but like for that reason, since I knew I was staying in the city, there wasn't a ton of stuff to do. Like I couldn't just call up my friend and grab a drink or grab dinner or whatever because things weren't really open. So
Yeah.
I just, like I said, stayed at home and caught up on some TV shows and did some crosswords, embroidery, called some more friends from the States. And I have a cat now, so I've been hanging a lot more with my cat.
Yeah.
She's really happy. She doesn't know that I'll be starting work again tomorrow and won't be around to
Oh my
play.
goodness. I am so worried when I actually go back to teaching in person. Like you're
Yeah,
teaching in person now. I am
yeah,
still online. And now at this point, it has been almost an entire year in a couple weeks. Like even
yeah.
we're supposed to go back on March 8th. Um, but even if that happens, that will have been minus 1 week, a whole year teaching online, which
Yeah.
means a whole year at home with my cat. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think she's gotten a little bit spoiled with me being there all the time. Man, she definitely scolded me when I got back from this break. She was whining at me. My friend came and checked on her every day, so she still had like
Yeah.
human contact. But yeah, other
Mhm.
than like me leaving for a few hours, she has literally been like with me or with my parents or with somebody every day for like the
Yeah.
past year. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment for my cat.
Yeah.
Yours too, I'm sure. Now she's used to it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. And like I got her from a shelter and before that she was on a breeding farm, so she wasn't really used to like human contact that much. So in the beginning she was super shy. And now we've made so much progress like she'll let me pick her up sometimes and like we've gotten better. So I hope we don't backslide at all.
Yeah. Oh, I was also gonna say, I feel like we definitely need to have like an arts and crafts show and tell. If you have like
Mhm.
cross stitch and I have
Yeah.
painting, maybe
Yeah, for sure.
next live episode we can
Sure.
have a show and tell segment.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So, Jessica's going to talk about her fun break that she had. As I said, didn't really have like a wild and crazy break this
Yeah.
time, but I just wanted to share like a couple things that I have done, not necessarily on this break, but just like since I've been able to move around and do stuff. So I went to a play like 2 weeks ago. It was through the high school affiliated with our school. So it was really good. It was Puffs, which, if people don't know, it's basically a spinoff of Harry Potter. And so it's like from a different perspective. It was so funny. Oh my gosh. Like it was mostly adults in the room. And I'm assuming most of them have read or seen Harry Potter. So there were a lot of inside jokes, but that was awesome. I also went to a jazz club probably like a month ago, and I would never expect to find a jazz club in China, but I
Yeah.
did. And yeah, it felt like a jazz club literally anywhere else in the world, like really swanky, like nice drinks, and like the walls were like velvet, and like the
Oh,
service was really good, and it was
I love
exciting.
that.
Yeah, I'll definitely need to go there again because they have music every night apparently.
Nice. Yeah, I think I've only been to, I mean, I've been to jazz clubs in the States, but I did go to
Mhm.
one in Seoul, Korea. It was very
Nice.
cool. Yeah, your dad asked us a question.
Oh,
Um,
okay, let's answer it.
if either of us have like swam, biked, hiked while we were on vacation,
Um,
did you get in the water
I
while you were
I
there?
got in the pool. The ocean was like a little bit too cold, and I didn't like swim like for sport. I just kind of like hung out in the water.
Like stood in the
I
water?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
tried to get a bike here because they have like a bike rental thing. You just scan a QR with your phone,
Hmm.
but you have to like register with your passport as a foreigner, and it rejects it a lot of the time. So I haven't been able to figure that out yet. And I didn't hike because it was supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah, when I went to Gampo at the rainforest, it was a hike that we went through. I mean, but I use the term hike pretty loosely. It's mostly flat. I mean, there's some inclines, but
Hmm.
it is a hike. We're like in the middle of the rainforest.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we were walking for, I don't know, like 2 hours or something.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then, yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about my beach vacation I just got back from. But yeah, um, also swam, but again, not necessarily in the literal sense of swimming, more
Yeah.
like yeeting ourselves into waves, like jumping
Hmm.
into the waves and yeah,
Nice.
standing in the water.
Yeah. The
Uh,
second part of this question, it says,
yeah.
do you find you need to get out and at least go for a walk, but in a different country during vacations or on weekends? At my last place in Turkmenistan, I walked a lot more because it was kind of difficult and awkward to get a taxi. So we would just like walk to go wherever. But here it's a lot easier and the city is more spread out. So if I'm gonna go on a walk, it would be for exercise or if it's like really close. And
Hmm.
I just don't really do that here because it's a lot busier. So every time I leave, it's like having to watch out for people because the bikes and electric scooters and pedestrians are all supposed to fit on the sidewalk. And so that doesn't always happen. So it's really crazy. Like, I guess I could just go in the park or something, but I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, right now they since New Year's, like or the Monday after New Year's, they've been slowly opening things up more, but our weekends are still total lockdown. So again, we can't leave, period, like at all. Like I could go down to like the lobby of my apartment and just outside the door to pick up like takeout. Um, and again, of course, like emergency situations. But yeah, I haven't been able to on weekends. There's a really, it's called the Cinta. There's a really long like walkway just in front of my apartment, which I've gone to a couple times, but I probably should go to more. It's just so dang hot that if I go, I need to go early or late at night. Um, and there's like just behind my apartment, there's restaurants and a little grocery store. So I'll more like walk with purpose. Like I'll walk
Yeah.
to there to get things, but not so much just for leisure.
Yeah. I did some pretty extensive walks when I first got here, kind of out of necessity and kind of just to like get a lay of the land. So I know generally where things are, but
Hmm.
it's just not the best mode of transportation for how big the city is. So, a couple more things I wanted to say about things that I've just been doing, like hanging out. Um, someone was telling me, oh, Sherry, shout out to Sherry. She'll definitely be listening to this. She was telling me I need to eat more street food because I did go to one place, but it's kind of hard because Shenzhen is like a business city and it's not super like traditional to where
Mm,
there would just be like street food and like tourists don't even come here that much. So I did find one place and I got like some skewered meat and some
yeah.
weird like it's different from Central Asia though. Like there's really not that much meat on you were supposed to buy like 20 sticks at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's not about the meat. It's about the weird seasoning and like I don't know. We also did this thing. It's like in the same area. It's kind of like a frozen yogurt bar, but it's just a bunch of different kinds of fruit, and not only fruit, but like boba and those other kind of boba that explode. And so it's just like a big bowl of like fruit flavored things. I don't know. I did that too, but I don't know where else I'm going to be able to find street food. So I'll just eat some more dumplings and call it a day.
Yeah. No, that was like one of my favorite things when I was in China in college was like
Mhm.
the street food or like the cheap food.
Yeah.
There was like a little, I don't even know what to call it, like market park thing where you could go
Okay.
and you could buy like an entire watermelon for like 50 cents. Or you could
Yeah.
do like the barbecue stuff. You could get meat, mushrooms, like vegetables, and they would cook it and then they could like take it off the skewer for you. And it's like
Mhm.
nothing. It's like $1
Yeah.
for like whatever, like 10, 20 skewers. Um, and what else? Oh, they also had like noodles. Yeah, no, I love that, man. That was like, I had that for lunch most days.
Yeah. Maybe when I explore a little bit more, like different districts, then I might find something like
Yeah,
that. But
or
yeah.
ask, I don't know, some of the locals or somebody else, like where they are. It
Yeah.
probably exists. It just
Yeah.
might be hard to find.
And things change so much here, especially after COVID. Like if it was there like a year ago or even a couple of months ago, it might not be there anymore. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
I
Anything else
also
about your break or recent?
Uh, well, I tried to go to a touristy thing, which is called Window of the World. And it's really cool because it's kind of an amusement park and kind of like a park of like sightseeing. I don't really know how to describe it. There's like some rides, but they're kind of just for kids. But there's like all these major um, landmarks from around the world are somewhat replicated, like not to scale, and put in this park, but like all together. So you can be like 5 feet away from the Louvre and then the Eiffel Tower, and
So
like they're all
like
right
sort of
there.
like Epcot, but with the monuments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't get to go. I physically went there, but the park wasn't open for like another hour because I messed up on the times. And then I didn't understand that it was like a bunch of rides, and I went alone thinking that it would just be like quick walk around and take some pictures. And it's like, it's basically a giant all day thing. And I went at 5 p.m. and I'm like, this is not the day for that. So hopefully I can go back some other time. But yeah, other than that, I've pretty much just been going to school and hanging out at home.
Yeah. Nice. Well, yeah, I've been mostly just hanging out at home, other than this vacation that I just finally got to
Yeah.
go on. Yeah, it's weird because it's like the first vacation that I've taken since October 2019. It's really crazy when we're so used to traveling so much. Um, and then too, it was in country, and those other travels I usually leave the country. So I went to the beach because there's only one in the whole country, right? No. So I went to a beach called Santa Catalina, and it's on the Caribbean side, but towards Costa Rica, like towards the rest of the US, um, and all of that a little bit. Um, so it's about 6 hours away in a car. So me and a couple friends, we went via car. We left at like 5 a.m. on Monday morning. Um, so didn't get much sleep. That was awesome. And so to leave Panama City, going that way, there's two bridges, but one of the bridges, they will change how many lanes go what direction, like at different times of day to help with traffic flow. But there is not a schedule, there are not signs, so you just have to like know. And my friend who was driving thought like she heard from one person that it would be fine, like it's a 4 lane bridge. So she said, well, three of them will be not going the way you need to go, but there should be one going through. But
Mm.
this was incorrect. And it's weird too because you can drive through like the whole bridge and then you get to the end. Now you can't.
Oh
So we
no.
did that and then we had to like loop back around and we looped around maybe like twice, and finally made our way to the second bridge. Um, and we were able to get out, but we spent a good like hour just trying to get out of Panama City. But eventually we left. That's cool. Stopped, got some McDonald's breakfast,
Hmm.
and continued on our way. The roads were actually like pretty good for the most part. The last little bit, there were a ton of potholes, which is weird, sort of, because the city we're going, there's a lot of like tourists like that go there,
Hmm.
like more like locals, I guess, that would go there. So it was a little strange that the part where you would think would have more traffic had more potholes. But yeah,
Right.
we eventually made it there. Um, and most of my time was spent just like hanging out on the beach because the place we were staying is like a surf camp. Um, so it's like the type of ocean and water that has like big waves, right, for surfers. But we were literally like on the beach in our little hut house room thing. So we spent a lot of time just like chilling there. Um, yeah, and going out to eat and stuff. So Tuesday was like the biggest thing. Me and a couple people went snorkeling, and this is where my sunburn comes in. So again, we left pretty early, like 8 a.m. or something, to get on a boat, and we were out until like 4:30. But like on the boat, we're mostly covered, so that wasn't the sunburn problem. So
Hmm.
near Santa Catalina, there's a big island called Coiba Island, and it used to be like a prison, like a high security prison, but the high security part is just it's an island, so you can't leave.
Hmm.
Um, but right now, the island's technically like closed, but we still stopped there because that's where you pay to get into the park. And there's a bunch of
Right.
other little islands. So we stopped there just briefly, and then three other islands. So to get there on the boat, it's like an hour or hour and a half on the boat. And since it's like a surfer's ocean, or at least we were leaving from the surfer ocean part, it's like very bumpy. And our driver is just going full steam ahead. My friends who are in the front of the boat are like, we're sore days later from
Oh
because when you're
no.
going fast in a boat over waves, or when you're going fast, it's like a, I guess, 6 or 8 person boat, right? It's not that big. It
Yeah.
just has like 3 rows of seats, and then the driver and our tour guide are in the back.
Hmm.
So when you're going fast, you're like the boat's like at an angle, right? So anytime you go
Hmm.
over a wave, if you're up here, you're like slammed down. So yeah, it was not a good time. I was in the middle, but there was some rotating, throughout
Mm.
so that they didn't get completely demolished.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went. Well, oh, I guess on the way there, we saw dolphins. So we were just like stopped in the middle of the water, and there's like it was so cool. There's so many dolphins, and they literally were just like right next to us, or like go under the boat, jump up, and yeah, a pretty big group of them. And then we stopped a second time and saw a smaller group of a different kind of dolphin. Don't ask me what kinds they are, but I saw two kinds of dolphins. And yeah, so I think we stopped like three times on the way to see dolphins and also saw a sea turtle. Um, okay, so then we stopped at Quebec Island just to like pee and pay the park fee. Then we went to our first snorkeling island. So the snorkeling islands do not have the giant waves. And you go in from the beach. So you're like walking in, and then eventually it just turns into like coral and stuff. It was so cool. Um, I have only been snorkeling one other time, and it was like in Disneyland or Disney World. So it was cool to see like a non-manufactured snorkeling experience.
Mhm.
It was so cool. Mostly like coral, but we did see some small sharks. They did not attack us. They were cute. They were, I don't know. Like, if I didn't know, I would have thought it was a big fish. You know, they're only like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. But that was really neat. We, what else did we see there? A lot of fish, a turtle, a manta ray. I saw like the manta rays also where while we were on the boat, and they like jump out of the water. I don't know why I didn't know this. Like they like fly.
I
What?
didn't know that.
I don't know. So that was kind of crazy. I feel like I'm missing something else. The big thing is the shark, turtle.
Mhm.
Yeah, we saw dolphins, manta ray, lots of fish, lots and lots of sea urchins. So yeah, we scubaed on, or sorry, snorkeled, snorkeled on one island for like an hour, hour 15 minutes. Then we went to a second island just to like hang out and have lunch. So I packed a sandwich, and then they cut up like fresh pineapple for us, and it was like
Ooh.
all pretty, like they made it look super nice. And the pineapple here in Panama is insane. It is so good. Like I like pineapple in Minnesota, but like pineapple
Mhm.
here, man, is so good. So
Yeah.
we had our like lunch, and the water on these islands is a lot like clearer and more like the aqua-y, and the sand is whiter. Whereas
Mhm.
like where our resort is, it's like rougher waves, and the sand is like dark, like black, brown sand. So it was cool. We just like hung out there, not really swam, but stood in the water, watched some people take some interesting Instagram pics, like coming in and out of the water and
Yeah.
strutting and all of that. And then we went to one last island where we did our snorkeling again. And I think that one is the one where we saw the turtle. And he just like was mad chilling. He was he just sat there, and we literally like all are like rather just like staring at him for like I don't know, it felt like forever, like 15 minutes. Um, One of my friends says, I swear he like turned around and like waved at us. I'm like, maybe. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, it was super neat. That was definitely the highlight of my trip. And like I said earlier, even though I applied sunscreen between all of these islands, it was not enough, especially on my back. Or it didn't dry in time, maybe, and like washed off.
Yeah.
But like when you're snorkeling, I mean, my like upper back is like the part that's the most exposed to the sun too. So it just did get more sun than the rest of my body. Yeah. The last 2 days, like Wednesday, Thursday, we literally just like hung at our beach like all day. It was wonderful. We debated going back to one of the other beaches, but it's like, why would I pay like $80 to go to another beach? I can just stay on this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though it's like not as wavy and whatever. So we hung out there, which again, like you said, it's just like a nice like I maybe in the past, if you asked me like a year ago if I wanted to just have a vacation where I just sat on the beach and did nothing, I would maybe say no.
Yeah.
But yeah, since not being able to travel and all the stress of like moving and stuff, it was really awesome to just like chill on the beach with a couple people and just like do stuff. Hey
Intruder.
kitten,
Intruder
hey
alert.
kitten. um, yeah. So we went to some other. There's a lot of like small little restaurants that are just like run by like just a family. So that's
Mhm.
super cool. So we went to some of those. Um, one place we went is called the Tiki Lounge. It was very delicious. Amazing, beautiful, wonderful cocktails. If my dad is ever listening, he keeps talking about pina coladas. They had amazing pina coladas because the pineapples are
Mm.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and the lady uh, that worked there, she did like crafts and stuff, like on driftwood, like painting. So I got like a
Okay.
little thing. I think it says like "Stay Wild," like woo. Um, yeah. So it was pretty low key, just chilling, hanging out with friends in the water, on the beach.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good time. Much needed
Yeah.
break for sure.
Yeah. Similar to what I did, just like hanging out and like not, I mean, my friends there were like basically brand new friends, but we're better friends now because we spent so much time together.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was really good. Like well, the people I went with have been the people I've hung out with the most. But I mean, it's always like you build even stronger relationships, right? Doing that sort of stuff. Is
Yeah.
Cat
Sorry. Right.
misbehaving?
She is, yes, she's attacking my work bag, which would be great if she didn't do that. So,
My cat is actually being quite an angel. I'm gonna wake her from her slumber. But she
nice.
was just like, she disappears into the background.
Yeah.
She's just chilling on the chair next to me,
Aw,
taking a
nice.
little snooze.
Yeah, as one does.
Okay, bye, cat. Yeah. Oh, I guess before we wrap up, we can just talk about like future plans. Like
Mhm.
we're both pretty lucky with the break set up this school year, minus the fact that there's a giant virus going around. But the actual
Yeah,
time off is kind of cool at the two schools we are now, right? Because you and I both just had a break, but we also still have spring breaks, right? You don't have a
I don't
spring
have a
break?
spring break. No, and
Wow.
they're saying it's because we started later, which is true, we did, but all the other schools in the city started later and they're still having spring break. So, I think it's
Hmm.
partially because our school is part of a larger company, so there's like certain
Uh,
number of school days
yeah.
we literally have to have. So,
Yeah. Oh, I get that.
yeah,
Well,
so this is my last one.
I have 5 weeks and then I have a spring break. Um,
Nice.
and as of right now, if everything's still open and all that, my parents are planning to come here. So I'll be doing more exploring of Panama. Um,
Yay.
yeah, probably just some short little like day trips or maybe like an overnight trip, but mostly like nearby or within like an hour or two of the city.
Yeah.
You had some
I
other
have like a
plans.
Yeah, I just have a couple more like random days off. Some of them turn into 3-day weekends, but some of them are just like random in the middle of the week. So like obviously the middle of the week ones I can't really do too much. But there's two more things I want to try and do this year. One is the oil painting village, which I think is called Dafen, and it's apparently technically in Shenzhen or like super close, but you can like see people paint, like you can meet the artists, and you can purchase works. There's like different galleries and stuff, so that would be really cool. And
Yeah.
then I want to go to another district which is also part of Shenzhen, because they have a bunch of like knockoff stuff there, like Rolex and
Yeah.
Gucci and whatever. So I think it would be fun to just like buy a couple of like cheap things.
Yeah. The oil painting thing, it reminds me like when I was in China. But no, the where I was in Weifang, like their thing was like kites. So they had like a kite village, which was super neat. So yeah,
Nice.
you should for sure do that. That would be really cool.
We have another question
I know.
from our listener, our singular listener, which
Listener.
is what surprised each of you about the most about the area where you're teaching? So I guess you could take that however you want, if it's the country or your specific set of kids or whatever.
um, I don't. Do you have something in mind? I might need a minute to think.
Sure. Yeah. It's not that it's like surprising to me like culturally or anything. It's just different from my past schools that the kids don't really hang around the school that much like after school. I've like me and then some other teachers have proposed like after school activities and some kids will, but some kids just have other stuff that they're going to. Like a lot of kids go to another school after our school and do like extra Chinese lessons or some kind of tutoring or whatever. So it's just kind of different to me. Like I'm used to my last two schools, like kids don't want to leave because there's nothing else to do.
Mm,
But here there's plenty of other stuff. So
yeah. Honestly, I can't think of too much about like the physical teaching because, like I said, I'm still online. So,
yeah.
um, I think maybe just something just in general that has surprised me. Like classroom management has been like pretty darn easy. Um,
Hmm.
last year we were mostly like asynchronous. So like I would assign the kids things to do on their own time because my kids
Yeah.
were all spread out because from Kazakhstan they went back to the US, they went to Korea, they went all over. But here, like, we basically just run a regular school day schedule, but online. So I guess just getting used to like teaching online and the like classroom management thing. So I'm really curious when life gets back to quote unquote normal-ish, or at least we have like the majority of our kids in person. Again, I'm curious to see what the classroom management aspect and behavior is like when we're together. Because right now I've been like, it's been really pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met some of your kids and I've also heard just like from us talking. And something that surprised me about your kids was like how Western tapped in they are. And it makes sense because you're not super far away and like they still have access to all these things, but like they know a lot of the pop culture and they kind of almost come off as like American kids to me in some ways.
Yeah, and I will say too, the like level of English too, I think kind of surprised me. It was a lot stronger for like the same age kids. Like even the kids I have that I know are in like English support, like they can still have like conversations with me and like ask me stuff. Like maybe there will be like a small grammar thing. Whereas in Kazakhstan, again, it wasn't a like large group of kids, but like the English level of the kids in English support was a lot lower, I think, than here. But again, it might be just because we're so much closer to the U.S. and there's like Panama City, like I mean, it's really westernized. Like we have everything. Like I was telling Laura, I asked my kids, when I get to Panama, where should I go eat? I was like looking for like Panamanian food ideas. And then they were like, no, I don't know. Or like, I don't like Panamanian food or whatever. But then one kid is like, oh, you know where you need to go? Benihana. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I will go, but yes, I know Benihana. Or like one kid is like, well, McDonald's or Burger King. I'm like, okay. But
These
yeah,
are
we
kid places.
yeah, we have everything. Literally, there's a Buffalo Wild Wings behind my house. Like, it's nuts. And
Nice.
like Olive Garden, PF Chase. Like, we have everything. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, just like the culture from the US is a lot stronger. Like, I'll turn on my TV, like, I can see US news channels in English on my
Nice.
TV.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think just, yeah, I agree. Like, they're more westernized and like the English is stronger.
Yeah. The English is a lot stronger here too, but I think it's partially the culture of like the parents expect them to know English because they're going
Yeah.
to an English speaking school, which to me makes sense. But at my previous school, the kids are like, oh, like, I don't really want to, like, or maybe just because they're kids and like the parents didn't invest it so much. They were just like, well, we want you to go there, but we can't really help you because we don't speak English, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure you can hear my cat playing with her jingle ball because it's 10 p.m. So obviously it's playtime.
Right. Yeah, duh.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Dad, for logging on in the morning. Hopefully, we have some more people come live. You will get to ask us questions, and you get the scoop as soon as possible. I don't know what other benefits there are, but it will be great.
Yeah. And if you have questions, like Laura mentioned, of course, like it's awesome to be asked them live and just respond in the moment. But you can also always comment on YouTube or send it to us on our Instagram at No Man Nomads Podcast.
Yep, we're gonna continue to try and keep some exclusive stuff on there. So, like extra clips, pictures, and of course, reminders about upcoming episodes. So, thanks for listening from wherever in the world you are.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Somewhere by the Emerald Sea, where the moon and water meet, somewhere close to harmony, when the world is sound asleep, something's gonna bring